So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Millions Missing Vermont. Welcome to everyone here who is with us in Burlington and to those who are joining us at home. We come together today with people in hundreds of cities around the world and connected in virtual actions, live streams, video conferencing, and social media for the largest mobilization of people with ME in history. I woke up this morning to see pictures and live streams of millions mission actions already underway all over the world. A choir singing in support in Sheffield in the UK, people with ME in Germany, London, and Australia. I am grateful that I am well enough to be here today in Burlington with everybody, but I'm happiest knowing that there are ways for those of us who are homebound, the bedbound, to participate and protest and come together in a way that works for everybody's bodies and all of our communities. Activism of all kinds must be made more accessible, and I am proud that Millions Missing and ME Action Network is helping to make activism and accessibility a priority. We are the millions missing. We call on governments and health officials to take action for the people living with myalgic encephalomyelitis. We need biomedical research, education of medical providers, and we need accessible, compassionate resources and support for those living with the impact of ME. We are demanding that the Director of the National Institutes of Health, Dr. Francis Collins, invest with great urgency into biomedical research for ME with the goal to find diagnostic biomarkers, initiate clinical trials of drugs, and produce FDA-approved effective treatments. We call on Congress. We call on our senators, Sanders, Leahy, Representative Welch, to take action to support funding for research. We call on the Vermont State Board of Health to establish a statewide network of resources for medical providers and patient resources for those with ME/CFS as ordered by the Vermont legislature in 2005, a network that 13 years later remains unbuilt. We are the millions missing. ME is a debilitating systemic neuroimmune disease. As many as 4,000 Vermonters, 2.5 million people in the United States, and 17 million people worldwide suffer from ME. This disease impacts people of all ages, races, genders, and ethnicities. ME is not rare. More people suffer from myalgic encephalomyelitis than suffer from multiple sclerosis. And patients with ME often have a lower level of functioning than those with MS, end-stage renal disease, and congestive heart failure. 75% of us are too sick to work, and 25% of us are homebound and bedridden, often for decades, so sick that we cannot care for ourselves and require assistance 24/7. The National Academy of Medicine reported that patients seldom recover, and this loss results in economic impact to our country of $18 to $24 billion a year in lost productivity and medical costs. Yet in spite of this, there is very little research. There is still doubt within the medical community that this disease exists at all. With minimal government attention, government-funded research is lacking, and there are no approved treatments. Up to 90% of people with ME are undiagnosed, and many are misdiagnosed with other illnesses. With no help from their governments or doctors and no treatments, patients and families are left to suffer alone. The National Institute of Health has money to fund research. In the last 2 years, overall funding has increased by $5 billion at the National Institutes of Health, including $3 billion in this March's omnibus bill. The NIH has the ability to jumpstart research for diseases that are deemed a public health crisis with the support of Congress. ME, myalgic encephalomyelitis, is a public health crisis. We are the millions missing.